edition. Sizwe Bloza is my name. Namhlanje sivakashelwe iqhawe le-MK Party. Yazi ke-MK Party isematheni these days, but sivakashelwe uFisfian Rady. Please don't say Vivian, but this is Fisfian Rady. He will tell us more about himself. Mr. Rady, greetings.
Greetings, Sizwe, and greetings to your viewers. I must tell you, I am indeed privileged to be on your podcast. Podcast Affirmation is growing so fast, and you're quite right. It's the fastest growing social medium in the country.
And we've been waiting for you for all this time.
Thank you very much. I actually turned down an interview with ENCA today, just so I could be with you, because I know your reach, and I think we want to get our message across to more people as possible. And I think we make a good fit.
That is a fact. You can repeat that.
Yeah, because we are the fastest growing political party in the country, MK, and you are the fastest growing podcast in the country. So we make a good fit.
That's a fact.
Thank you for having me.
Mr. Rady, who are you? I know people are more interested in knowing you better today.
All right, my name is Visvin Rady.
How do you pronounce it?
Visvin.
And then how to spell it?
Visvin.
Okay.
Interesting how I got my name. My dad gave me the name because we were very poor. My family came from a very poor background in the south coast of KwaZulu-Natal. On the night I was born...
Let's make you my homeboy. I'm from the south as well.
Where?
Is it?
Yes, I know.
Yeah.
I know. I'm actually going there tomorrow.
Okay.
I've got some meetings there. But I was born in an area called Kelso, and my parents and grandparents were sugarcane, not farmers, were laborers.
Okay.
They were laborers in the sugarcane plantations. So on the night I was born, it was a heavy storm. My mom was giving birth in the hospital, and my dad was catching fish. And he caught, there's a big shoal of shad. He came out and he caught a whole lot of fish. So to cut a long story short, he paid for me, because he had no money, using fish. He gave the fish to the doctor as payment for delivering me. So when it was time for him to name me, he had a friend, an African friend of his, who said in Afrikaans, vis is fish.
Oh, okay.
So he said, let's name your son Fisfin.
Oh,
Fisfin, for fish. And that's how I got my name. But let's go into my career. My career in politics spans 3 decades. I entered politics while I was on campus. I studied to become an educator. I'm a qualified educator. I taught for a short while in different schools. I'm a mathematics, computer science educator. And then I was actively involved in the student movement. I was responsible for boycotts and all of these things. So Mr. Raj Bansi, the late Raj Bansi, invited me to enter into politics. I was quite young. I was about 22 years old. He said, come join me. And the first thing I wanted to know was, is this a party?
So the one who was led by a child plant in the contest.
Correct. The one that got slapped there, yes. The one club, they call it One Club Tiger, yes, same one. So he invited me, and the one thing I wanted to know was, is this a vestige of the tricameral system? Is it a part of the apartheid system that you want to perpetuate? And Raj Bansi said to me, no, we need to be able to focus on Indian people, because Indians have to accustom themselves and align themselves with this new democracy. They don't know about this, and we need to bring them in line with that and so on. Gave me that story, and I bought into it. So I formed the Minority Front with him.
Oh, okay.
Yes, and the idea behind the formation of the Minority Front was that it was going to be an interim political movement until...
only for Indians.
Only for Indians, until the Indians could move towards this democracy and transcend to the democracy. Because remember, the Indians have a history in this country. While you have a group of Indians that fought in the struggle, that have made a serious impact in achieving our democracy, there were also those that were mollycoddled through the tricameral system. We had a House of Delegates that catered for Indian people and kept them in these Indian sort of suburbs. They went to Indian schools, they worked at Indian places of work, like employment.
Mm.
So they kept, and they were not used to a black government. And many Indians were actually afraid because of the Swat Khafar tactics of the National Party.
Yeah.
Understand this, Sizwe. We are where we are today because of what apartheid has done.
Yeah.
Many of our young people don't understand this. It was a deliberate plan by the Nats to keep us in compartments. They mischievously put us into different compartments. So you were labeled. You're an Indian and you're made to feel that you are not South African.
Mm.
You were black and they took the black African and they also divided them even further. They created sort of homelands. Yeah, we were not there, of course. But you created homelands, right?
Mm.
So you had KwaZulu-Natal, which was for Zulu people.
Yeah.
Then you had the Vendas. And then they created different tribes, and that's what they focused on our differences rather than our similarities and the fact that we are human. And they did the same with the colored people in this country. Now, I feel sometimes that what the ANC has done is perpetuated that system.
Mm.
And then whenever I speak at rallies, I always say that I am no different from my African brothers and sisters, no different. The only thing you'll see different maybe is my hair. My hair might be a little bit straight. But
I'm sorry to interject. You were the member of the ANC at one stage.
I was, yes, I'm coming to that.
Okay.
You asked me to give you my history. I'm giving you my history.
Sure.
So be prepared. So I had this time with Raj Bansi, who was quite a flamboyant type of politician, and I played the backroom kind of role. I found at a very young age I had opportunities to meet Mandela. I met Mandela several times with Raj Bansi, and I have a vivid memory of those meetings. One of the things that Mandela was extremely concerned about was the fact that Indians were voting for the white parties.
Yeah.
He often told us that. He couldn't understand this because he never saw Indians as Indian. He always saw the Indians that stood by him in the struggle as South African, as African. He just never saw it. It was only when the election results of 1994 came out, he then saw that Indians were actually supporting the white, and that's a fact. I mean, I don't want to beat around the bush about it. I don't want to hide that fact. Since 1994, if you look at voting patterns among Indians in this country, they've generally chosen the white political parties. And I'm hoping that with time, that they would realize the futility in that exercise. So when the 10 years passed in the Minority Front, I served in various roles. I was on the executive committee of eThekwini. I chaired almost every portfolio you could think of. I then said, this is enough. I cannot continue in a party that is racial, because the party was supposed to have disbanded, and it grew to the point where it had 3 members in the National Parliament. It had 13 councillors in eThekwini, in total about 27 councillors, deputy mayors, this and that. And I always believe that being in politics is not about positions. It's not about getting rich. It's not a get rich quick scheme. And Sizwe, I need to explain this to you, because today we have career politicians. People tell me, you know what, I am a party hopper. They say I'm a political prostitute. And I say, yes, I am. And I want all South Africans to be the same.
Maybe we need to offload it a bit, maybe political tourist to them being a political prostitute. Or
no, I like the word. I like it. They use this word. Let's use the word that they use.
Okay.
And they say I'm a party hopper. Now, do you know why we are in the predicament we are in today? It's because political parties like the ANC have made us feel guilty if we choose another political party. Yet they continue failing us. What we don't realize is that the ANC in government is not the liberation movement. These politicians that are in parliament, they get paid very well. They have excellent perks. So they're not doing us a favor. It's a job that they have to do. And because
on top of that, some of them steal.
Most of them steal, if you see now. ANC MPs are known for stealing. So what we're doing right now is that we're holding government accountable. If a political party does not deliver on its manifesto promises, you teach them a lesson and go somewhere else. Mandela said that. Mandela said that if the ANC does to you what the Nats did to you, you do to the ANC what you did to the Nats. Now, what you did to the Nats, you remove the Nats.
Yeah.
Now, how do you remove the ANC? The only way you remove the ANC is you vote for another political party. So what they've done is they guilt you. A lot of ANC votes, in fact, all ANC voters do not want to vote the ANC. I can tell you now, I haven't found one ANC member or supporter or voter who can tell me without a shadow of doubt, I have my conscience is clear, I'm voting for the ANC. I can't.
Even those who are benefiting.
The only ones who will try to convince you with a weak, feeble argument are those that are benefiting. Take Fikile Mbalula, for example.
Yeah.
Every time he opens his mouth, he actually does us a great favor. And I say to the comrades in MK, please let him speak. Give him a chance to speak. Because every time he opens his mouth, he chases thousands and thousands of ANC members away from ANC.
But don't you think it's because he's honest? He's an honest politician.
No, he's stupid. He's a stupid politician. He's not even a politician.
Telling the truth?
He's telling the truth. I mean, he said that if the ANC gets more than 30% in this election, they will be lucky. He said that. And he's the engine room of the ANC. So I believe that we have reached a stage in the country where everything has collapsed, largely because we have not held our politicians accountable. Now, I was approached by the DA, Tony Leon himself. And when he approached me, this was what he said. He said, we have done our own survey in the Indian community, and we see that you are extremely popular.
Yeah.
We want you to come on board. We are putting you number 3 or something like that on the national list. I was number 3 on the DA national list to Parliament. But guess what I did, Sizwe? And I want your viewers to listen very carefully to what I did. They put me in Parliament. They put me in Parliament. On the day they asked me to go and take my seat, I resigned. Because in a short space of time, I realized that I'm jumping in.
Or they managed to Katulu to join, to be a member of the DA.
Yeah, they gave me a seat in Parliament.
Too good to resist.
You know, it sounded too good at the time. Yeah, it did sound too good. Hey, here I am, quite young. I was very young, and there's a seat in Parliament. I probably, if I was wanting to be a career politician, I would have been in Parliament up to today as a DA parliamentarian. But I saw this as I'm jumping from the pot right into the fire.
Yeah.
Coming out from Minority Front, being an Indian party, going into a party that wants to profess to be non-racial. When in actual fact I saw firsthand that this was a party concerned only with white vested interests. I've seen it firsthand. And so I said, no, I think I must be the only South African that has turned down a parliamentary position. I did that. And I said, let me get into a movement that talks about, that's truly non-racial, firstly. A movement that's truly non-racial, because I don't want to see myself as an Indian. I don't want to see myself as protecting the interests of white vested interests in this country. That's where our problems lie. I joined the ANC. I've been in the ANC for a long time. I was a leader in the ANC. I was the sub-regional chairperson of the ANC. I was very involved. But the one person in the ANC that I was extremely supportive of and sort of attracted to in terms of my politics has been Jacob Zuma. It's documented. I've been supporting him ever since the time that he was being persecuted.
So
by
you were
the
supporting
ANC.
an individual, not the
I was supporting the individual, yes, at the time. He articulated the views of the ANC better than anybody else could. And I also saw the bigger picture. I saw how he was being victimized. And I also saw, and it was confirmed, in Nasrec. What happened in Nasrec? It was a very sad day for South Africa.
Which conference? The 50th?
No, this was the conference where Ramaphosa became the president. And listen, I was involved there. I was in the NDZ so-called camp. I was in that camp.
Actively involved.
Actively involved, right?
But as a member of the ANC.
As a member of the ANC.
Standing.
Correct, in good standing. I saw how delegates that were part of my team had put their phones off on the day before we leave Durban. Their phones were off. We couldn't contact them because they were given money. They were flown to Joburg. They were made to stay in hotels that the ANC did not provide for us.
Isn't there a part of the game? I'm just double checking, I don't know.
But don't you think that that is the game that allows for capture to take place? Is that not what capture is all about? Is that what we want to see happening in this country?
I also saw him arriving late at that conference and disturbing the president. The president was in the podium and he arrived late.
Who?
Your confidant, Zoom.
No, which president? Who's the president?
Cyril was addressing.
Cyril is not a president. Don't make a mistake and think Cyril is a president.
Information in our disposal, Mr. Reddy. He
Yeah.
was democratically elected.
No.
That's the information.
No.
We don't know.
Yeah, I need to give you some information.
Please do.
Yes. You see, it was Busisiwe Nkobani.
Mm.
She was made to become a victim. She was made to become that she was the evil one. But do you know she exposed something which I need all of us to take note of? She exposed the fact that hundreds of millions of rands was paid into the CR17 campaign for Cyril Ramaphosa to become the president. He actually bought his way into that conference. I remember it very clear. Now, if you take the people that funded Ramaphosa, why did he go to court to seal that information? We live in a country, a constitution that says that we should have nothing to hide. We should be living in a free country. Am I right?
What about the classified one?
Classified information. Classified. So you tell me, why would somebody who's got nothing to hide go to court to seal that information?
Yeah.
But fortunately, that information was leaked, and we have it. I mean, Busisiwe had intercepted emails, which proves that, number one, the key funder, funding manager, would say in all this, was Pravin Gordhan. Now, why I mentioned Pravin Gordhan? Because payback for Pravin Gordhan was to make him a minister. He became minister of the SOEs. Now, the SOEs in this country have all but completely destroyed.
But he was the minister during the times of Jacob Zuma as well.
Yes, he was, but he was also being made to account. Remember, when they asked him to leave, suddenly the white monopoly capitalists started saying the rand will get affected. The rand in South Africa is a very funny currency. It only reacts when it hears the word Zuma. It doesn't react when you say state 16 load shedding. Doesn't react then. It doesn't react when 28 banks are accused and charged for colluding to inflate the currency. It doesn't react. But when it hears the word Zuma, then this captured media start to say that the rand is getting affected. Just this past week here, there was a survey that found that MK Party is causing serious sleepless nights for ANC. Because it's eating into their support in a very, very big way. Right? And what does the media say? The media doesn't say MK has got the support of the rand is taking a dive because MK is eating into ANC. Where was that rand when we had load shedding? Yes, state 16 load shedding. Where was that rand? It never reacted then when the banks were colluding. Where was that rand when Cyril Ramaphosa and Phala and his involvement in Phala? So Cyril Ramaphosa is not my president because I know how he became the president. He had these funders that paid big money.
Who funded Nkosazana Zuma?
Well, it's the same question that you can ask me about who's funding MK. And I'll tell you, it is members that do it out of the love of this movement. They do it out of the love of the movement. Do you know, President Zuma said, how did I meet him?
When?
Hey, I met him through the ANC a long time ago.
And you fell in love with him?
You see, that sounds like he's not gay and I'm not gay. so that sounds good. But
metaphorically speaking,
but he is the most humble, the most committed, and I have yet to find someone like him. You make an appointment with him at 4 p.m., right? And when you go there, you realize it's not 4 p.m., it's 4 a.m. And you ask yourself, am I really going to see him at 4 a.m.? And when you see him at 4 a.m., he's full of, I'm not talking about years ago, I'm talking about like 2 weeks ago. At 4 a.m., he's still full of energy, full of life, and he's still engaging you on issues affecting this
You're
country.
very close to Msholozi.
I'd like to
Maybe that's understatement.
Well, I'd like to think so, but I also know, I know his heart. He has a
Please
heart for
invite
the
him to
people.
come here as well.
We'll definitely do that. I will definitely tell him.
No, before the elections, if possible.
Yes. Do you know he was on Ukozi FM yesterday?
Is it?
Yes.
Mm.
And, okay, let me tell you this. You know the MK party, right?
Don't want to talk with plenty of time.
The MK party.
Mm.
The concept of MK party
Mm.
was actually discussed with a closed group of people about 2 years ago.
Yeah.
But it was kept a secret, it was kept within the confines of those people,
Mm.
right? Because we were afraid that the ANC would do everything in its power to stop MK.
So the biggest threat is the ANC.
No, we are the biggest threat to the ANC. It's not the other way around. We are the ANC's threat today. That is why they're acting mad and they're doing stupid things.
Mm.
Really, I don't know who's advising ANC.
Do you think judiciary is captured?
I'll come to that.
I'll tell you why I'm asking the question. I don't know for clarity.
I know what you're going to do. You're going to say to me, if the judiciary is captured, how can the judiciary in 2 cases fight
Because
for
it's
you?
2-0 down.
It's 2-0 down. How is it possible?
2-0 down. How is it possible? It's not a capture.
You see, those judges,
Because we are winning now.
those judges
Ooh.
were not appointed by Ramaphosa.
Is
The
it?
ones that we were in court with. Right?
IEC, whatever.
IEC commissioners appointed by Ramaphosa.
Mm.
Now, I'm not saying that they are captured. I'm not saying that they are not independent.
And not even insinuating.
I may insinuate it, but what I'm saying to you is this. In this country, which doesn't happen in many countries in the world, the president alone
Yeah.
selects the commissioners of the Independent Electoral Commission.
Mm.
He chooses them. Who's the president of South Africa? Is he not the president of the ANC? So where will his interests lie? You need like Jesus to be the president for him not to interfere in these appointments, especially with chapter 9 institutions, where he does
Aren't
the
you looking
appointments.
for the 2/3 majority?
Absolutely.
If you do, it means you'll change the constitution.
We will change.
Let's wait for 1 or 2 months before the election, then you change the constitution.
We will change this constitution the first opportunity we get, because this constitution was a compromise.
What will happen? Are we gonna vote for the president, not the party? In your case,
We haven't reached that stage in the country, Sizwe, where we're voting for the president. You're voting for a party. And the president of MK party is Jacob Gerishlishle Zuma. That's who the president of MK party is.
when is your elective conference?
The conference is taking place after the elections. Now, President Zuma said to me, he said to me that we are a new party. We are a new party. That's why we have interim positions. And I must tell you this. You guys, you underestimate Zuma. Underestimate him. He's a brilliant tactician. Absolutely brilliant. He's a smart chess player.
From chess, eh?
Yes, from chess, right? He plays chess, he's a smart, and his moves are calculated. I mean, you can see the way he's been making the ANC dance. The biggest regret the ANC has right now.
Is he still a member of the ANC?
They expelled him. They expelled him, but his statement when he said, I still remain a member of the ANC, but I'm supporting and campaigning and will vote for MK party. Do you know who he gave the message to? He gave it to ANC members. He said to ANC members and ANC voters, he said to there were 10.3 million ANC voters in the last election. He said to ANC voters, ANC has failed us. ANC has failed us. The majority of ANC supporters, they see Zuma is the most popular leader in this country. A recent survey proved that Zuma is the most popular choice in this country. Not Ramaphosa, it is Zuma. Why is it? The media I don't care a damn about this media, the captured media. The facts of the matter, I go to places with President Zuma. Cape Town, we go into the malls, we go everywhere. Ramaphosa doesn't enjoy that kind of support with his Queen's English and big nose. He does not enjoy that kind of support.
Zuma is charismatic.
He's charismatic. He's humble. He's with the people. He knows how to dance. He knows how to sing. You heard Ramaphosa singing and dancing. He looks like a clown. He looks like a clown. So if the ANC
What
takes...
is it that you hate? Is the ANC of Ramaphosa or is the ANC in general?
We don't hate the ANC. We'll never hate the ANC. The ANC is the party of liberation. The ANC gave us our freedom, political freedom, but it didn't give us the economic freedom. That's why we need to change the constitution.
So if the
that
ANC removes Ramaphosa, it means you will go back to the ANC?
No, it doesn't mean that. It means that we will have to discuss it. Because it may be a good thing. It may be a very good thing. And we're saying, and President Zuma has said no.
I'm aware that some people are skeptical. They don't know if they vote MK, you will take their votes or take them back to the ANC.
No, people love the ANC also. But what they do not love is what the ANC has become. The ANC has become a captured ANC. ANC members are not stupid. They can see through it. And that's why when we speak of a 2/3 majority...
How to harmonize the fact that other people believe that even Msholozi himself was captured by Saxon World?
The Guptas. Who's Saxon World? Guptas.
Yeah, I didn't say it.
No,
But
no.
by the Guptas.
It's Gupta, yeah.
It's
Okay.
like Cyril. They say
Yeah.
Cyril is captured by the Stellenbosch.
Let-
Mandela by the
Right.
Oppenheimers and stuff.
I don't know how
of
to
them.
deal that. That's a question that comes up now and again. The issue of the Guptas.
Mm.
Do you know that it wasn't Zuma that brought the Guptas into South Africa?
I know that.
The Guptas...
It was so part.
Pahad. It was Pahad. It's a Pahad. During Mandela's term,
Yeah.
I tell you, while Mandela was here, Thabo Mbeki can deny it. There's pictures to prove that he met with the Guptas.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not here to defend the Guptas because I want to see black business. Like last night, we had a dinner with black business
In Richards Bay.
in Richards Bay,
Yeah.
and in that meeting, I had to show them that we want to be able to radically transform this economy so that black business people don't become just the suppliers of water that they get from the tap when they become the producers of that water. Why is it that we get happy? BEE, for example, is the biggest curse of black business in this country. Because what BEE has done, it's given you 20% of a white-owned company. So if you're putting a pipe, a big pipe, 80% of that value of that contract is going to the pipe supplier. He's supplying the pipe, and it's a white company. All you're doing is providing labor, and you're just going to do the dirty work. You're not seeing that money. And our black businessmen are seeing that today. So you see what a captured ANC and a captured government, how it has disadvantaged the people of this country. Another thing I want to say to you is, if you do a comparison between Zuma's presidency and Ramaphosa's presidency, you will see clearly there's been a massive decline. Even white people accept it. I mean, the whites were saying, Zuma must go, Zuma must go, Zuma must go. Remember, they're saying, now they're saying, Zuma please come, Zuma please come. Because look at the load shedding.
So what is it that he didn't do?
What is he didn't do?
That he didn't do, Msholozi?
He did not use enough money to buy some of these sell-out members of delegates of the ANC. Because they were there.
No, I'm asking during his tenure now, that 9 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was not an easy 9 years for him. Remember that he was fighting this white monopoly capital.
Yeah.
Understand what's white monopoly capital. Let me explain. So your viewers don't know this. You go to the JSE. You don't know what they work. You go to the JSE. Look at the top 20 companies on the JSE. They're all white.
Yeah.
Maybe you got Patrice Motsepe, who's a mustard seed in a room full of mayonnaise. That is what the JSE is all about. Number one, the company is number one is BHP Billiton.
Yeah.
White-owned company. Do you know what's their reserves on the JSE? The reserves is 2.8 trillion rands. 2.8 trillion. The second is Prosperous. Prosperous, their reserves is 2.4 trillion. I'm not talking about billions or millions. I'm talking about trillions. So on the JSE, you've got reserves that's equivalent to 20 times the country's budget. Now hear me. That's what we're dealing with.
No, if-
Why is it that they paid a company like this media company, Bell Pottinger? They paid Bell Pottinger millions to rubbish the name of Zuma because they wanted to get Zuma out of the way. Radical economic transformation sends shivers up this white business. They're the ones who are using our resources in this country, our minerals, using our financial resources and going and enriching themselves. And they're able to do that because they've bribed some of our ANC leaders, kept them in their pockets.
So, Mr. Reddy, I think a supporter of, still supporter of Cyril Ramaphosa can say the same. In his tenure, he experienced something like COVID, riots or unrest and stuff like that. That is why he will complain that I didn't get time
under his watch. See, it happens when you have a big nose. Big nose, you can't see.
But you are not
clearly.
body shaming.
That's not body shaming.
It's-
Malema calls his big nose all the time. He calls him out on his big nose. Malema calls him out on his big nose. He got a big nose. He got a big nose. I got a big stomach. He got a big nose.
You can change that by going to gym, eating like stuff. He can't change his nose.
He can't change his nose.
That's a thing you're putting.
Sometimes the big nose affects your sight. and he was not watching during COVID.
Yeah.
500 billion rands was stolen under his watch during COVID. The riots and looting that
We
took
have
place.
proof of that.
Oh, it's all over.
Because sometimes these things are gossip. By
No,
gossip mongers.
This is not
and
gossip.
we don't know.
It's not gossip.
Well,
This was picked up by the Auditor General. This Auditor General picked up the
Is
picked
it?
this up. Yes.
Okay.
Now, go to the next thing. Go to the next thing. The riots and
But he
looting.
must account then.
You must account. Riots and looting.
Why are you so silent about it?
About what?
About this missing 500
No. If you go and check my podcasts, my individual podcasts, you check mine, you'll see at the time I raised it.
Oh, okay.
I've always raised it, and I've always held him accountable. I also hold him accountable for 50 billion rands of damages caused during the riots and looting in this country. I also hold him accountable for the 300 or so lives that were lost during riots and looting. I hold him accountable for the millions of jobs that were lost. Why? Because he was not prepared. The police were standing by doing nothing. He could have sent the army in when he was warned to do so. He didn't. Under his watch, we had this happening.
I'm sorry to interject, Mr. Reddy. Can you enlighten me about this disbandment of your youth structure? It was led by
Kanile.
Nkosi Kanile, yeah. What happened? What transpired?
Okay, I don't. The decision to remove not only him, to remove a few people within MK.
Yeah, it's still
was,
out there, man.
Yeah, it was born out of some internal dynamics. They may be deployed in other areas where where the leadership feels that they can be more of better use to the party.
But do you think the timing is impeccable in such situations because elections are looming now? If you are not projecting this united front, that can be detrimental to you as well, as the MK, so to speak.
Your point is taken, but I don't believe that the voters, because remember our positions are all interim. Everybody's position is interim.
What is your...
I am the Deputy National Elections Manager.
And you are occupying number 7 on the list.
I think it's number 9 or something. I haven't seen it.
I think it's number 7.
Oh, okay, all right.
You're doing well.
Okay, thanks.
Straight to Parliament.
Yeah. You see, I don't celebrate that. I was at a restaurant the other day and I met some IFP people having some lunch there. All Joy called me and said, come and congratulate this lady. She's in Parliament. She's going to be a national member of Parliament. I said, I don't know her. Where's she from? Now, after the elections, what number? She's about number 70 something. She's going to Parliament because she's on the list. Guys, please. We are living in South Africa. Forget this image that being in Parliament is a glorified position. Think about the fact that close to 55% of our people live in abject poverty.
Yeah.
Think about the fact that we have the highest unemployed youth rate in the world.
Who's your premier candidate?
Here, we haven't yet decided.
When are you going to decide such a
No, you got it wrong. You got it wrong. People do not
Just
vote.
because we're still waiting for your manifesto.
No,
So
you
I
don't-
don't even know
you
when
don't-
I'm stating your manifesto.
We talk. Oh, are you asking me that? You
I'm
asking me the
asking
premier.
you, I'm
Let's
asking
deal with the premier issue.
Exactly.
First, right?
Tell me,
We should-
I'm
yeah.
worrying about time. So.
No,
Time
I
is
got all the
essential.
time. You're not going anywhere. I'm sitting here.
Okay.
I've got time. I got plenty of time.
Okay.
Now,
Okay, shoot then.
let's look at the premier candidate.
Yeah.
You know what has happened?
Yeah.
We become conditioned as voters
Mm.
that you've got to have a premier candidate, and that's the candidate we're going to vote for.
Mm.
But do you realize that not everybody is going to be a premier here? Even a small party has got a premier candidate. I was laughing the other day. I saw one small party saying this is our premier candidate. They won't even smell the position. But you say, the only time you talk about the premier candidate is when the horses have passed the finish line.
Yeah.
So then you know how many votes you got. Then you know whether you got enough seats. We don't want coalitions. We're not.
What's different from the municipalities? My understanding, like in Joburg, you will have a mayor with maybe 2 seats in that municipality. I'm just checking whether when it comes to.
No. You can also have
it doesn't work the
it.
same.
It works the same.
It works the same.
It works the
So
same.
they are quite right if they have somebody who like it.
That's
They're
big
like an
ambitious.
idea.
Yeah. But do you agree with
Like
a
Zoran
mayor-
Mwan,
Yes.
a
Yeah.
friend of mine.
Okay. Yeah, also a friend of mine. But do you agree that it is not democratic for someone with 2 seats to
Yeah.
occupy a position
Yeah.
of premier? I mean, the majority of
Because
people don't want
he
that.
doesn't even have a mandate. for
Doesn't have a
that.
mandate.
Yeah.
So that was the issue of the premier. Now let's deal with the issue of the manifesto.
Yeah.
We are having a manifesto launch.
When?
It's coming up in the next 2 weeks or so.
Is it? When?
Yes. Probably in Joburg.
We are not feeling a bit.
Mabita is too small for us. I am serious.
There will be
Mabita,
overflow.
we don't want to suffocate our people. And we're not going to bust people like what other parties have done. They're spending close to 20 million rands on having a big show to bring in artists, give the people food, so they come here on a holiday to see the beach. Why they choose Moses Mabhida? Because people want to see the beach. So you go to Joburg, you go to Limpopo and Mpumalanga, you tell people, I'm taking you on a free joyride to Durban, we're going to show you the beach, and they fill the stadium up with it. And people get killed in the process. Now, is that what we want to see in a manifesto?
No.
Do people vote? Look at this. EFF. I respect Malema. I actually have a lot of respect for him. I follow him. I like his thinking and so on. He's filled the FNB Stadium. He filled the FNB Stadium in 2019. But do you know, he got far less votes than the DA, which can't even fill one small soccer field?
Yeah.
Huh? Why? People don't
I'm asking
vote.
myself that
People don't vote. Don't be misled into thinking that full stadiums translates into votes. Because the way political parties have done it, they're enticing people to come to these manifesto launches for the wrong reasons. They're coming for the T-shirt, and you find the regular ones, they're coming all the time now. They take the EFF shirt, they take the IFP shirt, they take the ANC shirt, all those things. So they come for the wrong reasons.
You remind me of this young lady called Nomarani.
I know,
You know her?
I know, yeah, I know.
But she's smart, eh?
Yeah, she's smart. Yeah.
Because she's comparing these manifestos. I think she's coming to yours as well.
She's actually, I enjoy watching her. She's very fair, very honest, and I'd like for us to do that, but it's a futile exercise. It's absolute futile. How many political parties have actually lived up to their manifestos? How many? Now, we being a new political
How are
party,
you doing in other provinces? I'm convinced you're doing extremely or exceptionally well in KZN. But I'm a little bit concerned about your Northern Cape, your Western Cape, your
Eastern
maybe
Cape.
Eastern Cape. You find the Sipombata there. He seems to be doing a great job.
okay.
There's Limpopo, Mpumalanga, fine. But how are you doing in these other provinces?
Baba, President Zuma is going to be in Eastern Cape this weekend.
Yeah.
Right. But I want to tell you a secret.
Hmm.
It'll be just between you and me.
Give it to me.
I don't want anyone else to hear this.
No, fine.
It's between us.
Yeah.
Our target is ANC voters, right?
At all costs.
At
ANC voters. at all
ANC
costs.
voters.
Mm.
Wherever there's an ANC voter,
Mm.
we want MK to be out there. We've got people in Western Cape, we've got people in Limpopo, Northern Cape, that are supporting MK. Because let me tell you this, ANC may not realize this, but the ANC voter is so angry with the ANC right now. There's nothing they can do that will convert their minds. And they see MK as an alternative.
Even ordinary people, because I'm worried. At times there are these clever blacks, so to speak.
I'm
talking because they are not benefiting.
Yes,
they will start to be disgruntled.
Yeah, no, I'm talking about a loyal ANC supporter.
Yeah.
The loyal ANC supporter sees the ANC for traditional reasons. They see ANC as being the party that gave them freedom. They see the Mandelas and all that. So they think because of that allegiance, we have an allegiance to vote for ANC. Until President Zuma came in the picture, now they see someone saying, I still love the ANC. I still love the ANC, but I'm voting for Mkhonto Wesizwe.
Oh.
That's what they see. So the message out to disgruntled ANC voters is that you're coming out to vote, but you're voting MK. And the polling companies in this country do not factor that in. Look at the 2019 elections very carefully. Oh, by the way, I saw something the other day where DA paid members are actually running these polls.
Is it?
Yes, gathered for nonsense.
Do you have proofs for these things?
No, it was on SABC, an interview with John Steenhuisen, and he confirmed it. He confirmed that we have DA people that are paid by the DA that's working in polling companies. Where would you see any poll suggesting the DA getting 25% of the vote when you've got Musi Maimani's party there and you've got Herman Mashaba's party there taking away all the black support from the DA? If you look at racial demographics in this country, whether we like it or not, people still align themselves. They see black political parties, white political parties, and that's how they see. That's a perception. 84% of our population is black African.
So tell me, if you can fast forward a bit, do you think that people were massacred in Phoenix?
What do you mean people? Yes, people were massacred in Phoenix. Black people were massacred in Phoenix. And those that were responsible for it, I've said it before, they must pay the price for it.
Yeah.
They must pay the price for it. But I say that while that's being done, let's understand that our state was not ready. The state did not protect innocent people.
So as MK, any plans of visiting the township, as well as maybe visiting the families that have lost their loved ones? As the MK now, let's say some months ago, 3 or so months, I heard that you'll be visiting Phoenix, but I don't know what I paid, along the way. I don't know what I decided to.
There are certain wounds that are deep. There are certain wounds that are deep, and this is still fresh. The wounds of Phoenix is still fresh. And we certainly do not want to go and open those wounds. But what we've done, for example, there's a guy called, he was the one who said, shoot the Indians or something like that. Yeah, he apologized. But I've said that I need people now from the Indian community as well to apologize. You see, I don't look at it like that. Yeah. I look at a criminal being a criminal. My brother was shot in our home, dead in our home. And I never say it was a black African person that shot him, so all black Africans are criminals. I don't say all Indians. Among Indians, there's also criminals. There's thieves and rogues. You get it among black communities, white communities. I can't paint everyone with the same brush. That's because of how I see things. I see you as a human being. Yeah. I love you as a brother of mine. I mean that. I say this. When we get cut in our hand, you get cut, the blood that comes out is the same. If you are the same blood group as me, and I need your blood is going to go find me.
Tell me, how many people have you, how many Indians, Indian brothers and sisters have you recruited to MK as we speak?
Right, good question.
I'm just checking.
So a lot of people ask me this. Indian business people as well, they come and tell me you're an Indian, and you're doing a great piece of work, come to our Indian areas and come and do this and do that. I don't see myself as Indian. I'm not here because, and I wasn't put on the list, high up on the list because I'm bringing in the Indian vote. No, I don't see it that way. Even in the ANC, I was put into a mobilization unit in the ANC called ICW. Indians, Coloreds and Whites. Go and ask Sishle Zikalala. Sishle Zikalala knows me. He knows I will not be part of those things. because that is perpetuating what apartheid stereotypes has done.
No,
I refuse to that. But I have seen a massive groundswell support from the so-called Indian community towards MK in an amazing way, in an absolutely amazing, without us making any serious attempts to go and say we want to go and bring them in or whatever the case is. They are coming because they are seeing that after 30 years of democracy, if I'm going to be raising a flag to say I'm an Indian in South Africa, it's going to take me nowhere.
Yeah. But tell me, we're living in the era of coalitions now. Any political formation owns political formations that you're flirting with?
We don't like coalitions at all.
No, you don't like it, but the situation sometimes...
Coalitions is what's going to kill this country. It's already killing the municipalities.
Any party that you're flirting with?
See, look, we're not flirting with anyone, but let me just explain. We're not going to do any coalition with ANC.
So you prefer multi-party?
If
prefer multi-party charter?
If we come to that, no, not even that. Multi-party charter is one the DA is talking about. Never. What is that? It's a joke. As it is right now, as we're speaking, they are saying, this multi-party charter people are saying, the DA has taken them for a ride. Because this John Steenhuisen is so confused. On the one hand, he's saying, we've got nothing to do with ANC. Then he's thinking, he's looking at different polling and so on. Then he says, no, we'll do an alliance with ANC. Without even consulting his own multi-party charter people. Just that coalition nonsense.
Like
that
the John of the IFP.
Yes.
I think they deserve to lead that thing because in terms of numbers.
Well, they got caught up in it. Look, the IFP, if they're not careful, they're going to get spun around by the DA.
Is it?
John Steenhuisen is using the IFP to go to his funders and try to prove to the funders how they can win an election.
Talking about the funders, who is funding
MK?
MK party?
I will tell you openly. I will tell nobody can.
Not this Vivian Reddy.
No, Vivian Reddy has nothing to do with MK. And the best part of it all is our names got confused.
You'll find Vivian Reddy fighting the MK, also fighting the DA. That's what happens.
The DA, the funders of the DA and funders of the ANC are the same.
And then the
Patrice Motsepe is funding even the IFP. Patrice Motsepe is funding. I have the details. It's here, it's open for people to see. You know, he who funds you controls you. So it's not the voters. It's not the voters that control these parties. It's the funder. Nobody gives you money for nothing. There's a time when they're going to call back the favor. President Zuma, we were offered money.
We're often told that politicians behave like that. They don't care who's in power as long as their interest is protected.
So this is how it's supposed to be. And you think that we should continue with that? You think it is good for the country?
Maybe it's the system. That's what capitalism promotes.
Correct. That's what capitalism does. But with MK, we had the opportunity to get lots of money. We had big white monopoly capital go to President Zuma, offer him hundreds of millions.
Yeah.
We could have taken that money then. But I tell you, it is a mission for us. I want to be honest with you. It's a mission for us because we are a big political party in terms of numbers. But in terms of money, it is not easy. I want to tell you that our comrades, and I really take my hat off to them, they go and they fundraise to buy their own shirts. They fundraise to put up their own posters. This is a true people's movement. That's why our manifesto is not called a manifesto.
So you said you don't know.
It's called a people's mandate.
You do not, that is rhetoric of some sort. I don't bother myself with rhetorics. But who is taking you from point A to point B? And I'm a little bit worried about the MK because it's centered around President Jacob Zuma. You see? And President Zuma is a little bit old now. He needs to rest as well. I'm not saying he must head home, but he also needs some rest. Young blood must take over.
It's sad that an 82-year-old man had to come up from his retirement to save this country.
Yeah.
It's sad. But there's nobody else.
Is he winning though?
100%.
As far as you are concerned?
100%. 100%. This election is going to shock a lot of our critics. Honestly. Because when I look at these surveys that are being punted about, and I look at the rationale and the basis of these searches.
Who's joining you from the ANC? Tell me.
Who?
This is between me and you. Who's joining you? Big guns who are joining you from the ANC?
We are in discussion with some NEC members.
With who?
NEC members. We are in discussion with one or two premiers currently.
Is it?
Yes, we are also in discussion with some PEC members, a number of senior ANC members.
That will be, I'm thinking of Sten Matavata. Who's this guy in the Eastern Cape? I forgot his name. Namsat Gilbert? Current premiers or?
Current premiers are talking to us.
Okay, Namsat Gilbert. Who else?
I'm not saying anything. I just said that there are current premiers, there are NEC members, senior members of the ANC who have seen, no, I'm not joking, who have seen the light. They have seen the light and they are talking to us because they respect President Zuma. They still see him as a mentor and they can see what's happened to the ANC. Just yesterday, I spoke to a very senior ANC person who said after the elections, he is going to give up his...
So can you cope without Zuma in the MK party?
All right, you see, it's organic. This whole transition is organic. When the elections are over, our next campaign, our next mission is to structure the party and to have our conferences. We'll be having the national conference, our regional, provincial, branch conferences, all that is going to take place. And the leadership that emerges from there will ultimately gel this party together. So that's why we say nobody's got any positions today to talk about I am this and I am that. No, no, no. We are just running to get this election done, build up the membership, and this party is a tsunami that's taking over this country. Mark my words. This election
is unstoppable.
Unstoppable. Unstoppable. I've seen, you know, I wear this t-shirt proudly. I go anywhere, whether it's in a garage, whether I go to fill my petrol, I fill whatever. Go to the shopping mall or wherever, people come to me and they say, MK.
So MK is unshaken. By the way, you can follow us lapana we Facebook page, it's a commander. It's more than 2 million people, and we're for lapana we YouTube page like and subscribe. Sbalanda bonga yeke office field. I think I'm calling it. Yo, I'm still butchering. No, it's fine. I always Mr. Red. Mr. Red is always ready. Well, organize umshuluzi for us before my election. Is this a promise about quarantine?
No, we will definitely do that. I mean, with your kind of following, I don't see why we can't get in here. And I will speak to our spokesman, who is also the head of our communications unit, to arrange it. Let's put a slot in when he's in Durban, then come and spend some time here with you. I can assure you.
Parting shots, Mr. Red.
My parting shots is simply this, that the time for change, and this is not just political rhetoric, especially in a country like ours, where we are almost completely dysfunctional. The time for change is now. The only way to get rid of this ANC, to get rid of the ANC, is to support MK, a party that's not going to go into any alliance with the ANC, a party that's not here for positions. We're not here for positions and all of that. We just want to be able to transform this country. We want to push for RET, radical economic transformation. We want the land to go back into the ownership of the indigenous people in this country. We want to be able to allow for black business, a space to be able to thrive in this country. We want to break the monopoly of traditional business that have held this country to ransom ever since before democracy.
So this is the real opposition to the ANC now.
Ooh,
people are always like in a way crying for opposition, strong opposition that they don't have. A strong opposition. Can you simply say this is the real opposition to
we are not the opposition to the ANC. We are replacing the ANC as the government.
It's a question of semantics.
Yes, maybe the ANC might become opposition.
Yeah.
They might become the opposition. But I don't think they'll
after
the elections. I don't think they'll even go there. I want you to get an ordinary person that's voted for the ANC before. Forget about me. Forget about you. Just go down on the road there, meet somebody who's a car guy. Ask the car guy what he thinks about ANC. He will swear you. Wear an ANC shirt and walk into some of the areas. I get worried about ANC.
So your support lies with the youth.
We've got youth, we've got elderly, we've got
I'm a
everybody.
little bit worried about young people because of the apathy that sometimes they show when it comes to the
Apathy.
elections. Yeah, apathy. They go there and drink instead of going and cast their vote. They will go and drink. You know what is happening to this organization who are targeting young people the most?
Yeah.
Oh, they suffer. At the ultimate end, they suffer the consequences of relying to
Yes,
young
yes.
people. You know?
That's sad. That's very sad. But let's wait for
see.
the elections. I'm excited about this election. Never been this excited before, as I am now, and I really believe that there's going to be positive change in this country.
We are praying for that. Mr. Red, I'm wishing you all the best.
Thank you.
Hope to see you after the elections. You come back and report back.
Please don't stop calling us. It's your fault. Don't wait for an election.
No, we had Mr. Kumalo here, Jablan Kumalo.
Oh, excellent. Yes.
Yeah, he
yes,
came,
yes.
the commander.
Yes, Commander.
Commander Kumalo.
Commander,
Yeah, he came.
Yeah.
Who else? We are trying to get hold of
Shansha.
Mr. Arthur Zwane.
Oh,
as
yes.
well.
Yes, yes.
Arthur Zwane, Mshuluzi, all of them, all of you guys. We don't have a problem. We are but we are not siding with any political formation. What we do is apolitical.
But you are
Let's
going to
say
vote.
this in-
You still are going to, even if you're apolitical, you are going to vote, and you don't have to say it here on this platform.
No, definitely
But
we will vote.
Yes.
That is our right. So exercising that right.
Correct, and exercise that right.
Mm.
It's important that you vote
Because
and
of
vote
these
right.
freedoms.
Yes.
Free to speak.
Correct. Free to
Freedom
speak.
of association.
Yes, 100%. Say it like it is,
Mm. It's
and shame the devil. Speak the truth and shame the devil.
Don't you dare do what I want to do. If you do it, please take picture. See it 7.